Hello. Welcome to another unauthorized and rum-fueled treasure hunt in the sharky waters around the Gatsby Islands. With Gatsby deep diving queen Raae and her Nattermob pirate Paul the Navigator.
Hello.
Hoorah. And today our guest is the great and powerful Kyle Mathews.
Oh, sorry, we're not. Yeah, good. Yeah, woo.
You are such a fanboy, Paul.
Kyle, for the programming pirates who meet you for the first time, what are you doing at Gatsby?
I do a lot of stuff. I'm one of the two co-founders of the company. But these days, probably does a lot, like mostly just doing a bunch of deep dives in different areas to but we're working on functions and then just doing a lot of deep dives. Yeah.
Sorry.
Deep dives in the build process.
Yeah.
So just always looking for ways to make things faster, more reliable, more scalable.
Yeah.
We're just seeing ever bigger sites come onto Gatsby, anyways, there's always kind of new challenges to kind of try to improve things.
Yeah.
I'm trying to ask the pirate princess to not dance so much because my whole setup is shaking. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Back to you, Ola.
And I guess more specifically, today. Paul, I think Paul, you're asking about this on Twitter /GitHub about binary dependencies, native dependencies.
Yeah, I saw that. Sorry if I've caused you a headache with that question.
No. That was really good. It was sort of an oversight on our part that we didn't handle that out of the box. So anyway, been investigating kind of what's the best way to handle that, and on the precipice of a solution. So.
Excellent. Good. That will really help me out with another project I'm working on, actually.
Yeah.
Good. So should we get to it, pirates?
Yeah, I just wanted to say John had a great commentary that we need more effects. Brian water washing through some portholes in the bow. Next season, this is the I don't know how you say that in English. The next one is our last one for the season. So maybe we can come up with some fun things for next season, which starts August 6th. But should we code?
Yeah, what are we doing today? Do you want me to read my little green intro thing? Or
and I can add the banner on there. Look at that. Okay. Gatsby Serverless Functions Are we live?
Yeah, so we're going to create a Gatsby function that acts as kind of our own API, which in turn will hit the YouTube API endpoint as we've done before in Gatsby Node, which will allow us to determine if we're live or not, which will then allow us to display our lovely / gross marquee component that we built last week.
It's lovely. It's lovely.
So that's kind of what we're going to be doing. And we've got Kyle here to answer any questions because Gatsby functions are still pretty new. And whilst they're, I think, really easy to set up, there are some things that I'm not 100% clear on. So thank goodness Kyle's here to help us out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you can jump in if we are saying stuff that are completely wrong, Kyle. Just jump in there and it's, a loose vibe, as you've probably heard.
Yeah.
So how do we get started with functions then, Paul?
Right. So number one is to try and determine which version of Gatsby that we've got installed. There's a number of ways to do this. I mean, we could just jump straight into package.json and have a look, which looks like you're doing. And so we've currently got 3.2.1, and correct me if I'm wrong, Carl, Gatsby functions were available in 3.4, but we probably want to use 3.7. And I think today, actually, 3.7.1 has been released. So I guess the easiest way to do this Benedicte would be to do npm I Gatsby at latest, which will install the latest dependency. And while that's happening, just to kind of kill some time, I'm going to send you a link, Benedicte, on our private chat, which if you can open up on the screen.
Private chat.
Which is the getting started docs on Gatsby, which we will be semi-referencing to begin with. But I think, basically that very tiny code snippet is effectively all we really need to write to get a Gatsby function working, which is, amazing. Very little setup, very little config. We just need to put it in the right directory on the file system. So how are we doing on the install?
How are we doing on the install? I think it's soon.
All right. Well, while that's still continuing, let's crack on and make the correct directory structure. So very similar to how the file system root API worked, it's a file system driven setup. So we can do back in VS Code, Benedicte.
Yeah.
We can do source and then make a new directory called API.
But we don't have to configure anything to where we are hosting the functions. We just pop them into API.
Yep. It's a bit like how pages get generated straight out of the box if you put them in pages. And so functions get generated if you put them in API.
I like it. So why did you go for API, Kyle, and not like functions or Lambda or serverless or all the other things I've seen?
Those are all great options. It's like the main intention is as for kind of HTTP APIs. Because functions like Lambda functions are more generic. You can use them for all sorts of stuff other than like purely HTTP stuff. You can use them to respond to like S3 events or something like that. Where ours, functions are functions, but they're specific to kind of HTTP APIs.
Yep. Good explanation.
No, that's the answer.
I thought you were going to challenge it then and be like, well, actually, Kyle,
actually, I want to have Lambda. I just think that for like newer developers in the chat, though, like this, I thought this is a good, because it's like, it's kind of like we decided it seemed, nice or like a good option. Because I feel like sometimes when I speak to newer developers, they like think we have like a very proper and well thought through answer for everything. And I guess, it was a well and thought, like you've made a choice, but sometimes with development, you just make a choice, right? And then you stick to the choice. And that's the kind of explanation for why you did it one way over the other way. So sorry, I'm not going to stop us too much, Paul. Sorry. So we can get.
Well, actually, just one other thing too. It's like people are like, you want names to be kind of like people are like, I'm looking for something, and you want the names to kind of match that. So people are like, how do I build an API with Gatsby? And you're like, well, there's this API folder.
Yay!
you put functions in there, and then you have an API. So it's meant to be very simple.
Yeah, same with pages,
process.
Right? Like,
exactly.
You put the pages
I
in
want
the
a
pages.
Page. Yeah. It's not incredibly.
I've always liked that with Gatsby, actually, and it took me a long while to understand. I guess a year or two ago when I started looking into function, it was like called Lambda all over. I was like, Lambda? Are we doing math? What are we doing?
Exactly. No, exactly.
Felt like Okay, keep on going.
All right,
Paul.
So make a new file in the API directory, and we're going to call it we're going to call it r-we-live.js. Do you want me to spell
I was chatting at the same time. Are we live? No?
Yeah, are we live, but kebab case. That would have been easier if I just said that, hey?
Yes, that would have been easier. Are we live kebab case?
That's Pascal case.
Oh, sorry.
Hyphens.
What is our camel case? Didn't I do that, though?
Camel case. Camel case.
You have to spell it out for me. Did you want these or not?
Yeah, they're all lowercase, hyphened between the words, kebab case style. Lovely stuff. Okay. And
that's what I had, and then you said kebab, and then I kebab.
That's kebab case though. What you've got
is that kebab case? Okay, sorry. Keep on going.
Right, and unlike what we normally do, I am going to say let's just copy and paste from the docs. So go back.
Yes,
to that.
I was going to say let's go and copy and paste it. Oh, and there's even, look at that. There's a little, like, this is a very short
Copy
example, but there's a little copy button there. So if there's a long example, you can just copy it like that.
Wallet.
Okay.
Right. So maybe you can help us out a little bit here, Carl, but we are effectively exporting default here, the handler which accepts the request and response, and the response status are node HTTP handlers, right? So that is all we need to write a Gatsby function. So if you run develop now, Benedicte,
not npm, but npm. I can't, like, this is even worse than normal. npm run develop. Okay.
Right. And similarly to how pages work, so you would expect to have a root on localhost / functions work in the same way. So if we visit localhost /API / are we live, kebab case, hyphens, whatever, that will be the root that our function is. And very neatly, we will see that response printed in JSON.
Yeah,
so
let's just have, now we have the elevator music. Well, I have another question. So why did you go for the express style functions?
Well, actually,
which I love, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, this is it's express, but it's also like Node's default. Way of doing it. If you create kind of like a raw HTTP, so it's kind of like the most basic way of doing HTTP route handlers. So yeah, and it is also like Express has been like the most popular Node HTTP framework forever. So it's very familiar to people.
Yeah, I felt like this style is much more familiar than for me, who's made some tiny Express servers, than kind of the more LAMP or AWS style functions.
Right. Yeah, because AWS is kind of like I was saying earlier, like their functions are used for lots of stuff, so they're more abstracted. So you just get past an event, which could be any number of things. But since our functions are HTTP only, it makes sense to be a bit more specific.
Cool. So we got a response here. Hello, world.
Yeah, and I think the thing I want to just point out is like that is it. That's all you need to do to write a Gatsby function.
Done.
I mean, obviously it doesn't do much at the moment.
And broadcast.
There's no complicated setup. There's no config. I think I'm right in saying, Carl, correct me if I'm wrong, but as Joel pointed out on Twitter today, from 3.7, you don't even need to switch the flag on in Gatsby config. So it's just there, right? So you upgrade to Gatsby.
It started behind a flag. And then in 3.7, it's ready to go.
So that's it. I mean,
that's it. So we're gonna just quit. We're just gonna quit here. But no, I will then just we'll commit this and then we'll keep on going.
Yeah. So I guess I mean, entirely up to you, but we could go to the break, ask Carl some questions, and then he can choose if he wants to stay on and watch us hack this reacting this marquee component together.
I say yes to that. Yes.
You want to have the break?
Yeah, why not?
And John is saying, "Whoa, off to the races with Gatsby functions." So
Excellent job.
Okay, go break then.
Yes. So, Kyle, let's ask you a little bit about parenting. Yeah. So, what kind of rule rewriting do you feel that you have been doing on parenting with your son Henry? He's 9 months.
9 months now. Yeah.
9. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No. So I asked my wife last night. It's like, because she often's like, kind of like, I would have done it that way, but okay, sort of thing. So, because to me, I'm just sort of like, I don't know, I just do whatever seems natural, and he hasn't died yet, so I figure I'm doing all right. He's a happy baby, so something must be going right. So, but she sometimes like, points out that I'm doing something funny, her expectation. So anyway, so I kind of asked her like, what's a good story or kind of good, well, yeah, some sort of pattern here to how I do stuff. And what she came up with, and I think makes sense, is that she's like, you just assume that the baby is like capable and tough and like isn't fragile, isn't gonna like fall apart or something like that. And I think that is a pretty good. I think that is about right. Like, she is like, like all of her kind of like mommy friends are like just like petrified of stuff happening to their baby, and they're like, oh no, if I do this, she kind of brought up examples. She's like, if I let my baby watch TV, then it's gonna like whatever. Who knows what's happened? There's just like all these like anxieties that like get infect different moms and parents in general. But anyway, she talks more to moms, I guess. Anyways, and I'm just like, probably because I just ignore all that. Like I don't talk to people about parenting and trade like scary stories or something. Like I'm just not worried about something happening to him, generally speaking. I'm like, he's fine, he's healthy, like he can do whatever. Anyway, so she came with a story too that was pretty funny. That really illustrated this, because like I had him out, like this one, he was pretty young, like 3 or 4 months, and I was just outside doing some gardening and had him wrapped up, swaddled and in a chair. But I did some like watering, and like he got wet, which I didn't do anything about. I was like, oh, he's wet. That's too bad. and then apparently he had like a blowout, which I also didn't notice. And then I took him on a walk, and all this while like she was off doing something else. And then I came back from the walk, and so he was like wet and stinky, and she was like horrified. But I was like, well, he's fine. Like he's not uncomfortable. Like he's just chilling,
Yeah.
Having fun.
It's easy to tell when they're not happy.
Exactly. Like if he was unhappy about it, he would have cried. But like he didn't care that he had poop going all through him. Like he was like it was a good day. He was sunny. He was hanging out with his papa. Good times. So.
I think you and Ula should, you could have been good dads at the same time, because when I was still in the hospital, he took Lillian swaddled in like the wrap thing. So she was like 1 day, I think, and it was like -degrees outside, and she took him and he took her for a walk around the graveyard next to the hospital. And when he came back in, all like the midwives were like, you did what? And then he's like, well, is it wrong? And then they were like, not real, no, I guess not. But they were like horrified, but then they were like, we have no good reason to be horrified.
So is it talking or something? Do you know what I'm saying?
It's starting to get, he's progressed. So like when he was like 3 or 4, he started like grunting a lot. Well, actually no, he was even smaller. Like he was a big grunter. And then later, his grunts got more expressive. And so anyways, lately now he's sort of like, he's like making vowel sounds, so he'll go like googly 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 or something like that.
Yeah.
For like 20-30 minutes straight. So it's really cute. So he definitely is like practicing. He's a very conscientious practicer, because like he's not crawling yet, but he will go back and forth from like a sitting position to like a crawling position, like over and over and over again. So it's sort of like he like knows there's something there, but he's like, I want to like, really, really dig into the fundamentals and have those down.
There's some lessons in there for all of us. I love how this is now a parenting show, though.
Yeah, that was my plan.
Yeah.
That was your plan all along.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Or did you have another question, Ola? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No. So how did you feel when Paul compared you to the level of fame a Kardashian has on Twitter?
I think he's vastly overstating the comparison. I don't know. I'm just. I don't know. It's like also like, they're like fame-seeking people. They're famous because they're famous, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And we're just.
I gotta be honest. I wasn't 100% sure I knew what a Kardashian was. I was looking for something in like the sort of popular culture, which is not my area of expertise. I needed to be honest.
Right. You binge watch the Kardashians, Paul. We all know it. No, but on a more serious note, I had a question about what. Because Paul and I had to look back, and I had been using Gatsby longer than Paul, FYI. But then my question is, when when did it actually start, and like what spurred Gatsby?
I mean, it started 2015. It was like when the first release. Yeah, I'd just been like, I'd gotten into React in like 2014 and had been using it a bunch on like a different startup I was working on at the time. And anyway, so I was building our app with it, but then we needed a website because like we had a product and we were like starting to like sell it more. So we need like a website to like send to people like, hey, this is what we do, that sort of thing. And so anyways, it just, I mean, I've been in sort of the CMS world for a long time before that. So like Drupal mostly, but like some WordPress stuff. And I was like, React is like, of course, for apps, but I was like, well, it's also like super, I didn't see why it wouldn't be just as good a fit for kind of more traditional content stuff because, like React is like really sophisticated stuff for solving like complex layout and reactivity type stuff. And I was like, it kind of like handles with ease like really complex app problems. So I figured that, complex sort of content layout type stuff, like it would just blow through, because of the component model and so on and so forth. And then also it's like there's always like weird part where you're building something like Drupal and then you're like, oh no, I need to go interactive, and you like go jQuery, and then you're like sort of like trying to remember what. Anyway, it just gets weird. But if it's like React from the whole, from the get-go, then if you need to add something interactive, then it's pretty trivial to add that on top. So, so I was like, what if I could make, and then also, of course, React was like the first JavaScript framework that had sort of a two-string type thing. And so it allowed you to sort of like render on the server and then hydrate in the client. And so I was like, okay, like this actually has all the pieces to make a static site generator, but that is, it's like all the nice benefits of sort of the content stuff, static site generators, but also, you can do interactive stuff really easily. So I thought I'd give it a go.
But did you try to find something first that did what you just said?
Yeah, I mean, I looked around. There's definitely other people in sort of the same mind space, but no one had like built one. I guess like there was just there's just some like libraries that people have done. Like, there's like a few blog posts like, I did something like I built like a custom thing for my own personal website, or here's some sample code, type thing, but something that like actually pulled everything together into like a proper product, that's just like, because like, Gatsby had like the pages directory from the get-go. And, that was the experience I wanted from the get-go, that you just like pages directory, add in a component, turns into a page. And like no one had done something to that sort of level of simplicity, where everything's like kind of neatly hidden away. And all you do is just like build a website instead of like, and at the time too, like everyone was doing their own Webpack config. There was actually no one really at the time who had sort of abstracted away Webpack. So that was pretty.
And thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
It's weird for me, Kyle, because when I started becoming a programmer, I almost started straight up with Gatsby. So the problems that you're describing there, they didn't exist for me.
Yeah.
I understand when you say it in the academic sense, but but for me it's like you said, I just want to put up a website. I just go in there, I just do it like that. Yeah, that's
it was a primitive time. What can I say? I mean, this was like pre-create React app. Webpack was just like V1 at the time. It was there was a lot of things that we kind of like take for. I mean, it's kind of funny. It's like only 6 years ago, but it's like stuff we take for granted now. That didn't really.
6 years is a lifetime.
Yeah,
I mean, 6 years is longer than some people's careers have been in tech. And we're going back.
No, but I noticed it so well.
Sorry.
Well, when I tried when I tried to explain some things or help Ola with some things, like I go back to kind of my old explanations, and he's like, but
I don't.
But why are you explaining this part? Because I don't even have to touch that. Like, why are you? And I'm like, well, that's how I understand. But I think it's been really good, and I see John here says that a longer comment, but at the end it says then came Gatsby and whoa, thank you is his comment there. But I just wanted to say, it seems like all the pieces were there, but you kind of rewrote the rules on like what part you should use for what type of projects, and then you said let's just put it together and we can also make sites with this instead of saying we need Drupal for sites and React for apps. You said like why not? Who made those rules? Like why can't we just make it with one? We have one question here from a Norwegian guy, Petter, who is asking, are there any good solutions for creating a website and web app Electron app with Gatsby, but serve all of this from a mono repo to be able to share components between the two apps?
So you could have a mono repo, like Yarn Workspaces or something. And you can build Electron apps with Gatsby. I've bucked around with that a bit, and I've seen a few other people do that. If you use Yarn Workspaces, it's pretty easy just to have like a shared components package that then you import from the other two projects. So yeah, that's definitely doable. Yeah,
cool. And then Tobias, and the Norwegians are in the house. So Tobias is saying, and then he's answering Petter, you come a long way with Gatsby plugins, and the APIs are descriptive and powerful. So I know that Tobias also works with Gatsby. Any more questions then, Ola?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, actually, I had one more thought on just sort of the whole like things getting simpler. With functions, that's kind of the big idea there too. It's like, you've always been able to build APIs that you use with Gatsby. I mean, like Gatsby Cloud, like we have an API that like does all the stuff. Like it's just, but the running like your own API is kind of complicated because like you have to have like it's like a whole nother project, and you have a whole different like deployment way of deploying it, and like you could use Heroku, which is like pretty straightforward, and there's other solutions for running Node stuff. But if you're running your own infrastructure, you have to have a VM, you have to like have like a sort of a monitoring thing, process monitoring thing to run Node and like restart it. And anyways, there's just like a ton of complexity. And like now with like functions, like you don't have to worry about any of that. And in a few years, people will be like, how do you run an API? I don't know. You just like add some files. like what do you mean? Like is running APIs complicated or something?
The next Ola server is going to be like, what? What are you talking about?
That's going to be
my
me.
Own server? It's going to
that's
be
going
like,
to be me this summer, because I haven't tried what you explained. Again, I've never tried what you're talking about there, but I will do it now. I'll try it now, and I'll make it work because I can already tell that it's possible because I've been trying.
Yeah.
And then and then people tell me stories from the old days, and I'll be like, yeah, right.
Just try.
You say it's hard. It's not hard.
Just try building an Express API and deploying it, and you'll be like, what? And like the funny thing is, like people would go on and on about how like simple like Express was. They're like, oh my gosh, this is like so much easier than like Java or something. It's like, wow, Node APIs are so awesome, so simple. But that's how progress happens. Is like we keep finding simpler and simpler ways.
So in a way, so that's my question. And so I don't know if you feel like that, because I do. But do you feel like you're actually rewriting the rules now of function, like serverless functions, or?
I mean, serverless functions are a huge step forward because they're like managed. I mean, serverless functions versus your own API are a huge step forward, just because you don't have to like run them yourself. They're managed for you, and they're like not infinitely, but like very like highly scalable. Because like scaling APIs is like very complicated.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh no, like you have to like monitor like the CPU usage and like create replicas, and then you have to load balance between them. It's just like this long list of stuff to do to like scale it, and like serverless functions just like boom, all that's gone, because the infrastructure provider manages all that for you, and all you have to do is think about the functions. And so like Gatsby Functions takes it a step further, which is that like you don't have to. There's just zero boilerplate. It's like it's built and deployed alongside your site. Because like Lambda functions, like you have to create these like zip files and with all your dependencies, and then you have to like upload to somewhere, and then you get like this like weird special URL which then you have to like set up like the hosting layer to then like send to that, whatever. And then with Gatsby functions, it's like you don't have to set up the hosting, you don't have to like zip up anything. You don't have to worry about like versioning, because like Lambda also doesn't give you versioning. So if you put up a PR, like you have to like do all this like weirdo stuff to like set that up. Like the versioning for branches is all set up for you. And so anyways, you get like a really pleasant development experience in hosting environment without any work.
Yeah.
So, and you'll just like never know about any of this. You're just like, I don't know. I just build APIs. It's easy.
Yeah.
And
you're like, yeah, it is. But
let me tell you about we had to churn our own butter, and then we had to go out and buy a server. And then, sorry.
You just go to the supermarket and buy your fish, and I was out on the open ocean for weeks.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah, we're so gonna be that. Paul and I will be the grandma and granddad of tech, and then Ula will be that like young person who's like, "What? You can't just get that at the store?"
No.
Yeah.
So,
but that was
so just like it's like I used to work at a company called Pantheon, which does like Drupal WordPress hosting. And, you know, the big thing that we had there was like we gave you development staging as many development environments as you wanted for, you know, your whole stack. So it's like, you know, you could like, we said it's like, you know, Git allows you to fork your code, but, you know, Pantheon allows you to fork your entire infrastructure. So you can have like a different version of PHP on a dev version, a different version of MySQL. And allows you to sort of like the entire stack is like, you can recreate it for sort of development purposes. And I like the same thing here is that, you know, with functions, it's like your backend and your front end are all version controlled and deployed together. So you can like branch and then like change your backend however you want. And then, you know, put up a PR and you'll have a build. You can like play with it and do all this stuff. And then when you merge it, you know, it's all then deployed together. So it's sort of this like, you know, it kind of gives like the properties of Git, you know, like atomic immutable stuff, and then applies it to your infrastructure as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that's definitely one big difference between anything the Kardashians have done. So I think, you know,
right.
what
They're completely useless.
Here is amazing.
Yeah. Kanye's made some good music, but the rest of them, I don't know.
Yeah.
Some, like really cheapo.
Kanye.
I mean, look, you know, I'm a massive fan, and like, what Gatsby's done was like bring that what I was experiencing quite boring React development back to what I used to do prior React. Like you mentioned, sort of the way we used to do it before, but I'm going back even further. I was an ActionScript developer. I was doing Flash stuff, and so. Now, sort of 20 years later, I'm like, oh, cool. I'm able to do that thing that I did 20 years ago. Like, it's cool again. Like, I really enjoy it. Yeah. And so, you know, like I said, I'm a massive fan. I just want to say thanks, Kyle. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, our goal is I mean, our goal is like, it's like just to eliminate everything from web development that's actually not part of building the website, because like
the creative part, like not everything that's not a part of the creative side of things.
Yeah, it's like infrastructure. Well, it's also like what is actually unique about your site. You know, you don't want to be worrying about setting up infrastructure, because that's a generic thing. Like infrastructure is infrastructure. Somebody else should handle that, and you should just focus on, you know, the actual business logic and design and whatever, you know, that's like special about your site. And so
we got a good question again from Peter here. What would you say is the main purpose for Gatsby function, and are JSON the default or only response format?
No, that's just one of you can do whatever you want. Anything that a node HTTP server can do, you can do with a function. So you can return a file, you can return a string, you can return XML.
So we could we could I'm just gonna show that. Let's see, at the stream, Pet, that it's what you do here. So you say .json, then you return a JSON, and if I'm not wrong, there's a .text, right, for just like a textual, or just send.
Try sending it to send.
Yeah, I think it will fail because then we need a string, right?
Yeah.
Or will it not
I think an object will work. It'll just be I think it'll. Well, I don't know. Let's try it out. Save it and see what happens.
Yeah, it still works, but I guess the response.
Yeah. See. Look at the response headers.
Well, let me do a clean. Let me do clean so we know which one we're actually looking at. This one.
Yeah. So it changes the content type. Oh, it is to do. Okay. Response. Oh, that's interesting. So if you pass an object to send, it actually chooses JSON style.
Well, maybe it hadn't built. Yeah, but I think if we then do. Yes, because I think send tries to do the best. Yeah, but there are different like dot things you can do here, and then you can send different content types. So that's what you do in kind of this part.
Well,
here you're telling.
Try sending it just to a string, and then looking at that.
Yeah, because what I want to do, I'm going to build a time machine, and then I'm going to send people with Gatsby functions.
Yeah. So then if you look at the content type for the response.
Yeah.
So now it's text HTML.
Yeah. So Ola wants to have a bot. So that's why he wants to put people and he wants to send an array of people. Is that what we ended up deciding that you could do? That would then be JSON in your time machine?
Yeah,
I think so.
I'm going to send people. Yeah.
But
back
then,
in time.
But then we had the other part of the questions, like what are some main purposes for Gatsby functions? Like what do you think will be mostly used for?
So it's like anything you'd ever build an API for, but like probably the most common things you'll end up using them for is just like handling form submissions. So you have a contact us, it needs to go somewhere. You can like send it to a function. And then it can like save it to a database. It can just like email you. There's a lot of email services. So that's really common a use case. Another one is just like anytime, like sort of like fetching data from a database or something. So you have like a user's database or whatever. So you can like create an API that you can like request a user and then returns that. And so then you can like build sort of interactive stuff. For your site. Yeah. Another common one is like just like connecting front-end stuff to like third-party services. So maybe you like a newsletter sign up. Okay. So to do the newsletter sign up, you need like a API key. And you don't want to like put that into the client because then somebody could just like look at your code and then say like, sweet, I'm gonna like, I don't know what. I mean, it's unlikely anyone's going to want to sign up random people to your newsletter. Maybe you'd even like that. But
it happens.
But anyways,
it happens. Yeah.
I mean, it happens. It's crazy. Like someone just comes along and starts signing people up for my newsletter. No, but whenever you want to like interact with a third-party thing, like it's better to put it into a function because then you can have like secrets in the function that aren't exposed to the client, and then so the client then sends something to the function uses its secret, then sends it on to something else. And like another really common use case is like authentication. So you're like, I need to like, you have some sort of like login type stuff. So like Google Auth or something like that. And again, like the function can sort of mediate between, the client and Google's Auth stuff. And then also like once the user is authenticated, then you can like use that to do sort of like gated API requests. So you're like once they're authenticated, you can then request protected stuff.
I think that the part you said there about third parties, I think that's like where the function shines. You can then connect, especially when you need more like real-time data or real-time things that are happening dynamically, then you will talk to a function and then the function will talk to whatever, an Airbase table or a Firebase or your whatever, all of the things, or YouTube API, which we will be doing pretty soon. Last question though, could you do a GraphQL endpoint? And then just pass it on to some graph. Or could you do your own GraphQL then? I am not that.
So you can have we need to create an example for it. We do have an examples folder, by the way, with a bunch of different examples, but we haven't made a GraphQL one yet. But basically it's like it works the same as any other GraphQL server where you have a function, you can have like API/GraphQL, and then you set up your types, resolvers, and then it just works. Like it's just HTTP API. It's the same thing that you do with like Express, but we handle all the boilerplate for you.
Like it. So should we do our... Paul has something to say.
I just wanted to ask a question. Whilst we use Gatsby Cloud for our Gatsby functions, it's not a restriction of the product. It can be deployed elsewhere to still take advantage of Gatsby functions in your Gatsby site.
Yeah, so it's basically each like hosting provider needs to add support for it. So at the moment, Netlify, I think, is the only one that's added support. But because the thing is, like, it is like, why it's nice is because it's more abstracted. Like, you don't have to worry about setting up the hosting to point to your functions. You don't have to worry about like compiling or deploying the functions. All that sort of happens for you. So for someone else to use it elsewhere, in Gatsby Cloud, that's all handled for you. But somewhere else, like you'll either need to you'll either do it yourself manually in some sort of like deploy step, or the hosting provider can sort of automate that for you.
Yeah.
And what about if, for example, you wanted to, let's say, abstract the entire API and host just an API on Gatsby Cloud? Could you then hit that from any of your Gatsby sites on any other provider, regardless of whether they support Gatsby functions or not?
Yeah. So like, just it's not a site; it's just like API. Yeah, you could definitely do that. Yeah, I mean, you need to set up cores in the API so that other domains can hit it. But beyond that, yeah.
Cool. That's good. I'm glad you said that, because I wrote a blog post about that today, and that's what it was.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure I was on the right line.
Stamp of approval. Yes, stamp of approval.
Yeah. Cores is the main hang up, because by default, and this is part of the reason that we do all this stuff, is because like we're deploying your API as like a subpath inside your site. So if you're accessing the API from your site, then like everything works as expected. But like cores prevents you from doing JSON requests by default to other domains. But you can set up your APIs so that it will allow specific other domains or all domains, and then it can
pop a
work.
star in there and YOLO, you know.
Yeah, which
like,
is my
whatever,
favorite way.
Everyone can use my API. It's cool.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to what you were saying about, like, you know, why would someone want to hijack your form input? I'm like, fine, use my API. It just returns my
It's like security for security is a real thing, because like nobody actually cares about almost anything that you do. Nobody cares about you. It's like it's the truth, you know.
I know.
You could just
you've been spying on my Google Analytics.
You could just do whatever, and no one's ever going to hack you, because like no one actually wants to hack you. So,
But then suddenly they do, right? As an example.
I kind of feel about this security thing like Steve Jobs' father felt about the cabinet he made with Steve when he was a kid. And he really wanted it to look good on the inside and the backside too, even though nobody else would see it. And then Steve was like, but Dad, nobody's going to see it. Nobody's going to know. And his dad said, I'll know.
Right.
I'll know. Let it be.
So you said that. Say we want to have our security in place, so we know.
so that we feel good about our work.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
No, it's a good habit to do, because like, you know, if you're doing something on the side, you don't want to like learn a lot of bad habits that you then take to work, because then at work somebody probably will, you know, hack your stuff eventually. Or at least it doesn't look good to your colleagues. I don't know. So
but should
learning the best practices and applying them is a good thing to do.
Yeah. So do we want to head on into plugs, Ola, or
plugs? Should I go first then? I'll go first.
Yes,
okay.
You can go first.
You can be patient while I'm clowning around with this share screen thing. Oh, I think I'll do it now. Oh, here it goes. Share. All right. Do you see it?
You have to add it to the. You have to add it to the stream. Should I add it to the stream?
No. That's why I asked you. Is that me? Add to stream. Yeah. There you go. Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Inception.
Woo. So this summer, Lillian and I we are making a Gatsby Functions workbook for grown-ups and kids. And it's going to be on paper so that your computer will not distract you. And like I said, we're going to send people back in time to help a princess against the evil queen. And so go here and sign up down here for updates. And then Lillian and I will make updates. And at the end of the summer, the workbook will be ready for printout. Yeah.
Awesome. Is that using a Gatsby function? Okay.
This is all about Gatsby. But I need to take away my screen. The workbook is about Gatsby functions. Almost only about that. It's a little bit of the page, what do you call them? Routing, which I call parrot pages. So that's how it starts out. They're basically back in 1554, and they start making the time machine with that. And then they realize that shit, we gotta send people here. We need something more, and then they get Gatsby functions to send the people. Yeah.
I like it. I didn't know Gatsby functions could do that actually. But there's a lot of npm packages, so I guess if you do npm install time machine, then.
The thing is, if you have a time machine, you can go to the future and talk to yourself and get the technology you need.
Ooh, I like it.
That's me.
So, Paul?
Yeah, I actually, for the first time in a long time, actually have a plug. I've been pretty quiet on plugs, but I've managed to get some stuff done this week. I actually have 2 plugs. Can I share screen? Am I allowed to do that?
You're allowed to do that.
Am I sharing? Because I've only got my reading.
No. Yes.
There you go. Post.
Okay. So I'm glad you validated my question, Kyle, because I wrote a post today. Functions as an abstracted API. So that's basically kind of what I've written about here. It's how I get my Twitter profile information on my blog, even though my blog is hosted on Netlify, my API is hosted on Gatsby Cloud. And basically that's the endpoint, and I can just hit that from my front end, and I can deploy anything anywhere. Nice. Second plug I have is MDX Embed, my little pet project for embedding React components in MDX. Has just released an alpha version which will support Gatsby 3.2 and upwards. So if you were using the old MDX plugin, you won't get the error or warning anymore if you've upgraded to Gatsby 3. So that's me.
Cool.
Am I unshared? I don't want to get screenception.
You're unshared. Okay, do you want to blow on the thing again, and then it's my time, and then it's Kyle? I couldn't hear anything.
Uli, you're muted.
Yeah, it's muted.
That's why it looks like gold, because you don't need to hear it.
So we're all about getting people to sign up today, because I have also made a little sign up page. So over on queen.raae codes, I had this ID, and then I just YOLO talked about it on Twitter, and now it actually might, become something. That would be Queen Raae Summer Functions, and I think I got Paul with me, or at least that's what I'm saying on my page, because I need him to do some work on this.
Apparently
so
I'm in,
learning functions by adding fun features to your own personal site this summer. So I thought it would be fun to actually have some real project to work on this summer for people who already have a Gatsby site. Then we can extend the site with some fun features that uses Gatsby functions. So that's the idea. I'm not sure exactly what the fun features will be yet. I do have some ideas in the back of my mind, but if you're interested in hearing more about this, then you can sign up. And it does not use function. It uses ConvertKit React component. In case you were wondering. But the plan is that is queen.raae.codes.
Okay.
And as you can see, draft, we're thinking 5 weeks with 5 features, and you can do one, you can do all, you can do parts of them. There will be weekly code samples, weekly webinar, weekly co-working, and some of this will be paid, just so that's out of the box. Sign up and I'll let you know. I'm very excited for this, by the way, if you didn't. Okay, Kyle, what do you want to plug?
Functions. They're as of, what was it, Tuesday? They're fully released in open source and on Gatsby Cloud. So yeah, start a new site and give it a go. They're pretty fun.
I'm gonna give you a screen here so people can see.
Yes.
There.
Boom.
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 There. I like the logo. I hadn't really realized this was the new. Yeah. Looking good. Looking good.
Designer made that. Yeah, he's super talented.
Yeah. Super cool. So do we want to get back into coding now, Ola?
Well, stop. Kyle, if you want to leave now, that's totally cool, you know? Because you never know when this will end.
Sure. Yeah,
you can stay on for as long as you want.
No.
Yeah. I'll stay for a bit longer. I do need to take care of something real quick, but I'll be back in like 3 minutes.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
We'll start coding and we'll try and answer Meltwater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not now. He wanted to do something.
Yeah, but I think we can answer it.
Okay, we'll answer.
No, we can't.
Yeah.
No, we can't. Well, we can't. Well, we'll do it when Kyle's back. Go ahead.
Yeah, come back later. Yeah, super.
Let him go.
Okay.
He clearly needs to go to the little boys' room.
No, not like you, Paul. No.
I do. That's why I'm fidgeting. But, let's crack on with this.
So Meltwater will ask if he comes back. We'll ask. I'm gonna just let him be there on the screen.
But the break is off.
The break is off. That is one of the longest breaks we've had, but we had it earlier in the show today. So let us know if you like that or not.
I liked it.
Can you vamp for a little bit longer? Because I've got to go and, take care of some business as well quickly.
These boys need to drink less.
Let's go take care of some business.
Let's ramble. So John is saying we should put all these links in the YouTube info below. We should. I will do that straight after the show because I would have put them in the chat, but that is not allowed. It will just be like removed from the chat. So thank you for that. And then Petter, our Norwegian friend, is saying this is great. Thank you for letting us know. It's really hard to know if these things kind of come across like we want them to or not. And we have seen that Meltwater is in the house. Nice to see you again.
Just when Paul left.
Just when Paul left. Very suspicious. So the Kyle is back. Well, good. Then he can chat while we wait for Paul.
We have a question, Kyle, from Meltwater. It's one of our regular chat pirates. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah, so when's it possible? Gatsby Cloud, thank you. It's very lovely. So Gatsby Serve, you can, technically serve a site with Gatsby Serve. We don't recommend it because you lose all the advantages of kind of like managed infrastructure, where you're now responsible for making sure your site keeps running. You don't have sort of auto scaling. So if you get a bunch of people visiting your stuff, then, like the Gatsby Serve process, it's a single node process. It can only handle so much traffic, where managed infrastructure will just keep giving you more instances and take care of things. So so it's fine. If it's a small site and whatever. The nice thing too, though, about Gatsby Cloud is that, for a small site, it's free, because it's kind of all shared. So it's not really that big a deal if you put up something and it gets a little bit of traffic now and then. But if you put Gatsby Serve on Heroku or something like that, then I guess they have a free plan too. But anyway, there is maybe some cost because you're always running the process. Where a true serverless model, if no one's visiting your site, we can just spin down resources and it's really efficient for us to handle. So
Yeah. Okay, let's code. Let's do some coding, Paul. Are you ready?
I'm ready. And I think you're going to like the first half of this next bit because it involves some copy and pasting.
Yes.
So this probably isn't the ideal.
I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah. It's not the ideal way to do it, but I think we're not going to abstract some of the stuff that we've previously done. We're just going to copy and paste it for now because we're not entirely sure if this client-side approach
is going to work at all. So we might run into like rate limiting issues from the YouTube API, and then we'll just have to quit and start again next week.
Yeah, but effectively what we need to do is borrow some of the code that we already wrote in Gatsby Node, which is to set up the YouTube API client. So we're going to need to copy that const YouTube and the response. Yeah, so copy that, and we need to slam that in somewhere in the function.
I got some water from the intern. Jeg kan ikke hjelpe deg med det nå. Sorry, the pirate princess needed some help. So we want to put that in here, inside the handler?
Yep. And we probably actually want to... Go on.
Do I need to import to Google, maybe?
Yeah, you'll need to import Google from, well, require from Google APIs, yep. And we probably want to put the await inside a try catch because it might error.
Are you sure I get it?
Not the client, just the response, I think.
Why can't I just put all of it in there in case something goes wrong? Okay, I'll do what you say.
Okay. Now, let's deal with the error first because I want to ask your opinion on this, Kyle. For the response from this, would you say 500 is a good status of send, or would 400 be good?
Yeah, 500 is like the general error.
Something went wrong in the...
Yeah.
And is it send or error?
It's still send. So you can just send the actual error for now.
Okay, Paul?
Yep, and then so that should give us an error when we come to actually fetch it from the front end. And then for the response for the try, we'll change. Sorry, it's very distracting.
With the people in the back? 2 seconds.
This is what we mean, Kyle. It's a very loose vibe.
Yeah.
I just had to yell at them in Norwegian. I can do it like on the... We have lots of Norwegians in the house, so like... Dere må være stille. Okay, keep on.
Right, so instead of res.status 200.send, let's do res.status 200.json. Make that an object, and we'll put a key value pair of message, which will be a string. So just leave an empty string for the moment. I think that should be enough. But what we need to do is, so the reason we put that search list API query in is
we need to put an async. We need to put an async up here.
Yeah, you're right. We need an async in front of function, in front of the word function. Yeah. So what we need to look at really is the response data.items. So if you just put a console login for that, and I'll try and explain. But the snippet, if you recall from streams 2 and 3, contains some information about that YouTube response. And one of the keys that it returns is live broadcast content, which will either equal none, upcoming, or live. If you just log out response, if you just log out response.
I have it here.
Items.
I have it here, data.items.
Okay.
Yeah, I do that all the time. And it never goes well.
And if you, rather than that, underneath message, perhaps, let's just put a new key value pair and just call it, I don't know, data. And that can actually be...
If we do the items there, and then we can, so we don't have to look at my little console thing. Is that what you're thinking?
Okay, do that.
Do it like this.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah. And then just hit the API in the browser. We should see that response object.
By the way, you can install a
nice formatter for the JSON thing in the browser.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure before it just like auto did that for me. Well, I'm gonna pull up Paw, my favorite.
I have one just called JSON formatter. Do you have that as a Chrome extension?
Yeah, I think that's what I use. You just Google like Chrome JSON extension or something.
I'm just gonna. Of course, there's a new version of this. Okay, let's see. This is my favorite. I love to use Paw, so let's just use that instead.
My wife just got a job at Postman though, so.
So I can't be using Paw.
I just have to plug. I just have to say something about Postman. That's all. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Right.
So what we're looking for is this live broadcast content.
Yeah, so there should be at least one response in there that says live, because it will be this video. And so it'll probably be the third one in the list, I think, because you've already pre-planned the next two shows, haven't you? The finale and
the season one. Sorry, I'm gonna try to be.
I mean, it will be the name of this show.
Yeah, upcoming. Live. We are live.
Yeah. So what we're going to basically do is loop over that items object. We're going to use array.sum and just return true or false if any one of the snippets live broadcast content is equal to true, and that can be a response that we'll send back to the front end. So let's make a new constant and call it are we live, and this will be Pascal case, and this will be response.data.items.sum.
I've never used sum.
Oh wow, there you go.
It is a beautiful
SOME.
You just so you just feel very functional.
But is it some SUM or
SOME?
Like
some. I thought you meant some. I thought there was something I didn't know.
So is that my cool British accent?
That's your cool British accent. I think I've used. No, I don't think I've used some. But that will then it will break out of the loop as soon as it finds something that's true, right?
So basically, some will just return true or false if any one of the values in the array is true.
What's cool too is that it will stop looping as soon as it discovers a true item too.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to ask.
Yeah,
it'll be item.
Nice. It's really efficient.
Snippet.
That's snippet. Then it's live.
Live broadcast content, and broadcast and content are capitals.
Well, I copy pasted that, Paul, because I'm not spelling it.
And it'll be equals live. So we just want to test if it equals a string of live.
Okay.
So are we live should return either true or false, depending on if we've got a video. And I guess if you want to be helpful with the messages, we could use a ternary on there as well.
Well, I'm just testing it. So I'm making sure we're using up our quotas.
Well,
I got an error. What's my error? But didn't give me any. Isn't it supposed to give me the whole error message? Didn't we send back the? Huh.
We'll try just looking at the console.
This is because I've done it too fast.
Getting ahead of yourself again.
Yeah, RB live response data items.
Yeah. And if we want to keep it the same pattern as we used in Node, rather than item, I think we called it video in the loop, just to be extra cool about it.
RB live true.
Yeah.
Okay. Video, because it's actually a video and it's the video snippet, live broadcast content equals live.
Then we can, for the message, I would say maybe do are we live as like a ternary.
Yeah.
And do if we are, then send a string that is saying we're probably live.
10 of you.
Isn't it nice? Isn't it lovely?
So proper.
But do I sound like that? I'm not Dick Van Dyke from Mary Poppins. I mean, I wish I was. But,
Well, that's just Dick Van Dyke is what happens when an American tries to imitate an English accent. Maybe.
Probably not live. And can I do a crying emoji?
I mean, I would probably just send a string. Really? I mean, stop it.
Paul gets very nervous when I do these things.
Stop making me look bad in front of Kyle.
Yeah, emojis are cool.
Skiffet. Let's do skiffet.
Emojis are cool. That's like Matt Smith in Doctor Who. That's,
right, yeah, and then we probably don't need to send back the items. You can probably remove that.
Yeah.
And you could shorthand "Are we live?" and just remove "Are we live?" and the colon, because it will be a Boolean value.
But I'm wondering why it didn't send back the error message when it failed.
you might want to try JSON.
So I think I might.
Yeah,
because
like,
error?
I think send just asks like, is this a normal object or something? Is what I'm guessing. Whereas
Let's
an
try
error
it again.
object is not like a normal object. It's like dumb little thing.
Yeah, it doesn't want to do that. Do you know, Paul? Have you seen? What did you do in your code?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things it might be. So the YouTube API, when it errors, still sends back a 200, which is annoying.
Yeah, but this wasn't the I mean, this isn't a YouTube error. This is an error inside of here with the item. Like I have item instead of items, and then some. So it should error here, and that should get thrown in here, and then give us that error. But
well, the response isn't necessarily an error, is it? It's just the constant that will just be undefined, or you'll get a compile error saying that item.
No, but yeah,
It'd be a runtime error. Like,
yeah, I think it's a runtime error, and that's why I want it here. But yeah,
but that should be data.items. I thought you solved that.
Yeah, but I'm trying to force an error.
Sorry, boss.
Cannot create properties, so sum of undefined. That is correct. But why isn't it sent?
Errors. I think errors don't stringify. Is the problem?
But if I do
error.message.
Message.
Yeah.
Error.
Yeah, let me Google that. It's like stringify JavaScript error messages.
Yeah, now it works. So it's because it wasn't. You can't make an error into something you can send over the wire.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to force that error anymore, Paul. We're back on track. It's all you now.
I think that's probably enough for now.
Yeah.
Ship it.
We're done. Yeah, I mean, the next part of it is using fetch on the front end to actually hit that endpoint. But I think we need to be very careful when we do this, because I know that. So basically, the YouTube API has a quota, and the search request is very expensive. And so we've already hit it probably 5 times, which will give us, and basically it shuts down for a day. So we'll make sure it works on the front end, and then I think we'll disable it and we'll carry on. I mean, we're going to be here all night, I think, trying to get through this. You don't feel like you have to stick around, Carl. I mean, we'd love it if you did, but you know.
I do have to ship support for binary dependencies. So.
Oh,
that's true. Yeah, and I need that. Actually, we must release Kyle.
Go away, Kyle. Go away, Kyle.
Go do that. Okay, so this is done. So let's just commit that. Are we live function? And then we want to head on over to our components and then use it in our component.
Yeah. So we're going to write a little fetch.
Well, what if I start by making this error again so that we don't hit the... Oh, we still hit the API. But what if we just throw an error before we do not hit YouTube?
So
then it shouldn't hit YouTube.
How much can you hit YouTube?
So I think you get 10,000 requests in a 24-hour period, but search, it accounts for about 500 per hit, because it obviously depends on how big and I might be wrong, but it's big because it depends on how big your response list is. And it is annoying because unlike a lot of APIs that block it for, say, an hour, YouTube does it for 24 hours. And we're using... I don't think this is the right way to do it, but we were just going to use it as an example. I think we need a better way to find out whether we're live or not, but we'll work that out.
So something,
yeah.
You could maybe like cache what is the latest video or something. Or I don't know. Anyways.
We've got other issues with this channel ID because Benedicta uses it for her other show, the Power Stream. And so whilst Benedicta's channel could be live, it might not actually be for Nattermob, it might be for something else. So I think we're going to actually probably lean towards another solution. We'll still use Gatsby Functions for it, but maybe we're going to use a Twitter bot.
But I think he has a good point though, Paul, because we do a search for, well, maybe the whole search. If it depends on the result, we could be like, oh, we just want the 3 latest videos instead of like 50 videos of what we have. I don't know if 50 videos gives it like, if that takes up more of the quota than one video.
I mean, we only probably need the last 1 or 3, depends on how many you want to go ahead, don't you?
Yeah. So like 3 to 5, at most 5, but probably just 2.
That would certainly help things. You could maybe change that query so that it doesn't return 50. That might help.
So I put something in the chat too. We'll...
Yes, Michelle.
Yo. Hello.
What did you put in the chat, Kyle? Sorry.
Well, if you just click on it, it's so we are going to be adding support in the private chat.
I don't see it.
It's in the private chat.
Oh, sorry.
I can't. Yeah, I can't. Anyways.
No.
Oh yeah, this one. Yeah. So basically, in the future, you'll be able to return like a cache control header, and so you could say cache this response for like 2 minutes, and then that would help. Kind of minimize the number of YouTube requests you're making as well.
I'm gonna vote this up.
Yeah,
yes.
That's good, yeah.
I gotta sign. I think I've signed in, but I'm not gonna sign in on stream. I've done too many wrong things in that department.
Got to reveal your credit card details again.
I don't want to do that. But yeah, that would solve our, because we could put that up to like 5 minutes. I mean, there's not like a big, if somebody sees that we're live 3 minutes after we've, quit, it's good enough, right? So when did you say this was coming out?
Well, I mean, there's no exact shipping date, but I mean, I know the team working on functions. Anyways, is looking into this. Because it would be nice too, because like the first request will be kind of slow because it has to hit like YouTube. But if you cache it, then anyone hitting it next will be getting the response straight from Fastly. So it would be crazy fast.
Yeah, that would be super cool. Like my idea was that we would cache it ourselves in like Fauna or something.
And
then just
too.
Yeah.
So,
but let's do it, Paul. Let's now I'm throwing an error so that we're not hitting the YouTube API while we're working on this. So should we try to make it work?
Yeah, I mean, let's just try and bung in a fetch. So probably on line 9 above the... Oh, actually, we've got a little bit of housekeeping we need to cover. We'll just do this very, very quickly. That is mounted, which you'll see on line 26 as well. The ternary to return the anchor is to resolve the hydration issue we had because we are only returning the Live Now badge from Gatsby SSR and not Gatsby Browser, and we were getting that weird div span server client mismatch. So because React's lifecycle use effect hook only runs on the browser, is mounted will only be set to true if it hits the browser. Therefore, Gatsby Browser and Gatsby SSR will always be the same. That's out the way. Let's write some more code. Jesus, I forgot about that. Right.
And so nobody tell him he's wrong in doing this. So we can just get on with it.
So
okay, so you want to do it in here?
Yeah, so above there, we're going to do fetch. Parentheses string inside there, and it will be /API are we live hyphenated.
So we're hitting the endpoint we just made.
Yeah, and we don't need to put anything else in there because it is a get. I think that's what fetches by default. So yeah, give me an arrow on then, which will be the response.
Response.
And
okay, so then means when this returns, then we want to do this. It's instead of wait. Yep.
I'm going to be extra dweeby about this as well. So can you pop me onto a new line, please, so I can write this out? We're going to write a little if statement. Maybe there's a better way to do this, but this is how I like to do it. Inside the curly.
It didn't want to do new line, so we're just going to do it like this.
We're going to do an if statement. And if the response.status is greater than or equal to 200.
What are you trying to do here?
I'll explain in a minute. And response.status is less than 299. Then return response.json.
Is that
a function? Yeah.
Yeah.
Else throw error. And it will be response.message.
So I have never done this myself because I just use Axios.
Yeah, I mean, this is super
a package.
dweeby. This is super dweeby, but like as the condition suggests, if the response status code is between 200 and 299, then we can assume it's okay, else it will error. I don't 100% know what that YouTube API is going to return. I know that we've forced a 500 on ours, but I mean, you know, let's just, for completeness, just cover it.
Yeah. So then we want to do something when this is okay, and then we want to do something when there's errors.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you could put some logs in just to kind of see it, and we can quickly test that it works okay, and then we can sort of disable it. But we do want to. We do want to see that console log for the response just to double check the function definitely works. So you might have to remove your force error in Gatsby node, but yeah, check the error one first. We should see an error.
Error at eval live now bridge. Is that correct though? Line 22. Yeah, that's this one. But why did we get an eval? Well, anyway, okay. And then I'm gonna unforce my error.
Yeah, and let's just check.
And then we'll try again. We're probably live. Yes.
Yeah, good. So that's basically everything we need to now create a whole load of state options, which are going to control what eventually gets shown in the JSX return. So we can kind of do all of this without the API, which is kind of
I got the API back on forced.
Yeah, so we know it will work eventually when we put all the things in. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the best way to do this is. It's going to be a lot of typing, Benedict here. I mean, if you want, we could just copy and paste it in, and I can talk you through it. Is that going to be better?
Let's at least, Well, we are going to do at least, let's do our messages. So I'm just copy pasting different messages here. So we have a live message, not live message, error message, and then a loading message. And together with that, we have states. Yeah.
Just a thought, shouldn't you return the YouTube URL so that when you're saying we are live, like they can just click on it? And...
Yeah, we've hard-coded it.
Yeah.
But we hard-coded it because we know
does it return the vanity URL? We haven't checked because this is your vanity URL, isn't it?
Yeah, now we're not going to hit it and see what it actually... Okay, so we have an is loading, an are we live, and has error states. And just to get this error off the way, I'm just going to use the live message for now. So now we've got all of these things. Now we can use them. You can talk us through using them.
Yeah, so we need to do a bit of an in single file abstraction. So we're going to be reusing some of those DOM nodes that we returned, like the emoji and the message and the span and the grid. So I want to make a new component. I mean, you can copy and paste if you've got it.
Could we set these states reviews first?
Oh yeah, fine. Yep. So in there we're going to do set are we live, which will be response.arewelive, which is the Boolean value. So it'll either be true or false. And then set is loading is false because it's no longer loading because the response has come back.
False. And then I'm guessing in here we're going to do has error.
Is true, and set is loading is false as well.
Oh, so true. And then set is loading
false.
Yeah. We could also do like a finally and then do this. Sorry, I'm not gonna.
Stop going off track.
Okay. So we got these now.
Okay, which bit do you want to do next? It's going to be copy and pasting again because I want to get through it.
Well, I want to log them. Has error. Okay. Yes, loading. Well, this is usually how I do it, so I'm sure things are happening.
Yeah, that's fine.
So yeah, it's false, true, false, and then false, true, false, and then true, true, false, true, false. What is this happening again? Oh, it reloaded. Has error, true, is loading, false. Oh yeah, of course. So this is true, and then it's false, and then false. Cool.
What's just as a sort of aside, actually, since you're on, Kyle. So in the React 18 release, when they were talking about, was it set transition when it kind of accumulates multiple set states and reuses the render? So I don't know whether you see this quite a lot, like we're setting two state values, like set are we live, set is loading, or set has error, set is loading. That causes React to render the component twice. In React 18, we should be able to, it should resolve that, right? So like if you set state twice, it will only re-render once because it will cache the changes.
Yeah. It already like in the same tick. If you just like do two set states or multiple set states in a row, it will batch those.
Batch, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, the transition is just to give you explicit control over it. Because then you can be like, oh, we're going to be doing a bunch of expensive stuff that's going to be like happening in multiple stages. So just like, chill out, React for a bit.
I love the way you explain that. It's so simple.
Yeah.
This just in from Kyle Mathews. React, just chill out a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you live in California, you just gotta.
Well, I just imagine you live in California. You're just always wearing like board shorts and on a skateboard and saying "dude" a lot. I mean, I've been to California, but like, is it like that? I mean,
maybe you should stay in California for a while and like get some of the spreadsheets out of you, Paul.
Do they not like spreadsheets in San Francisco? So that's specifically Southern California and like beach culture. Northern California, like we're still chill, but we're I don't know. We're like.
Have you ever been to Bolinas?
Bolinas?
Yeah, so like go over the Golden Gate, and instead of going down to Sausalito, go left and go up, keep going north, and you'll get to a little town called Bolinas, where it just has a bar, a library, a town hall, a grocery shop, and a little tiny beach, and it's excellent. I've been there. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been in the area, and I think I've been there.
This is not staying on path, Paul.
Yeah. Sorry, me and Carl are just bonding.
Yeah, we're bonding. Yeah, well, there's like a ton of really super nice little towns on the California coast. It's fun.
Sorry, did you want to get back to doing some? Get back to some code, eh? Oh, what a nerd! Right, do you want to copy and paste some of my stuff for that abstracted component, and I'll talk you through it. It's the live now content bit from my secret branch.
But I just realized I'm all dark. That the sun has gone. Like we've been going for so long that I need to.
I thought the sun doesn't go down in Norway in the summer.
Well, I'm in southern Norway, so that would be northern Norway. I mean, it's still not down. It's still kind of light out, but it's not like as bright as it was when we started. Anyway, now I'm off. So what did you want us to do?
What time is it in Norway?
It's 9:30 p.m.
Wow, it's pretty late.
Yeah, but you can see. Let's see if we can show you.
Yeah,
like it's still light. Like this is the outside.
Yeah. We lose sun at like 8:30 here, but we're sort of southern people. Yeah. So what are you doing?
John is saying, I think what Kyle was implying is that he wear pants.
Actually, I almost never do. It's pants. We're casual enough to wear shorts all the time, but.
Okay, Paul, what did you want to do? We got all our states.
Yeah.
What do we want to do now?
Have you got my secret unplanned PR branch to hand? Because there's a component that I abstracted some of this stuff and I called it live now content. Just copy and paste that and slam it in the top and I'll talk you through it.
I do. I'm just gonna browse files and then I can have a look at it. But I realize we've done something wrong in our reduce query thing, but I can do that at the end. I found a little bug. Okay. So no, that was wrong. That was the function. I want to go and look at the
it's from lines 4 to 26 from my super secret branch.
Yeah, your super secret branch.
Yeah, unplanned.
So we now have a live now content component.
Yeah, so it's just got a couple of props to set some different background colors, the color of the text, the message, the area label, and the emoji. And this is kind of what we did last week with the marquee and the span and everything, but we're going to have to basically reuse that DOM arrangement multiple times depending on the state of the API. So rather than having like the worst if statement ever in the return, it's already bad enough. We're just going to pass a number of props into this component, which moves me on to the next thing. You can now, from my super secret branch, copy the entire return statement, and then I'll talk you through that as well.
Okay.
This is right against what we like to do on this stream, by the way, Carl. But it was, we've talked.
I mean, we can't do all of it all the time, but I need to find the latest.
From line 77 to 141. It's quite a lot of code, but it will look easy once you copy and paste it in. It will be.
Oh no, I done something wrong. I was on the wrong commit. Sorry. Live now content is smaller, like that, and then we want the return.
I think you pasted over the entire component there, didn't you? Or did you?
No, it was the other because I had copied a wrong thing. So. Oh, there's a. I can hear myself. Who's having feedback? Echo.
Wallop. Okay, so basically, look, all that's doing is a series of ternary to say, are you mounted? Is it loading? Are we live? Has it errored? And I just pass in different colors, the different messages, different emojis, and different area labels. We end up with just, the different banners depending on the state. So there you go. Blast. There is an error.
Blast.
And also, just going back to what we covered last week, I know we're using the horrible marquee that is going, it will be replaced with some keyframes, but all of them in the abstracted component would run the check whether the preferred reduced motion is set. So regardless of what state we're in, it will either animate or not animate depending on your preferred reduced motion settings.
Live now.
That's good. We got this in an hour and a half. What did I estimate? It would take 10 minutes.
Well, we talked most of this stream though. But there is, I forced it again. There is an issue with, I'm just gonna, I am gonna commit this. Updated.
Take that error out though before you commit.
Yeah, but I'm not committing that. I only staged the component. Yeah. So I think there's an issue with our use to reduced motion because it's only being run when it's changed. We forgot to set it if it hasn't changed. So we only do it on reduce query, add event listener. So that will only happen when we actually change it, but not set it on the first load, I think. Because I'm getting like very wrong.
Oh, I see what you mean.
So if we refresh this, and then I run the command, like sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Like, so now it's supposed to be reduce and it doesn't reduce it. And then when I set it again.
Maybe you have to restart?
What? Or have you just changed it wrong here?
Well, I don't know that it's not going to handle changing, right?
So it handles changing here because we were using the add event listener change. Okay. But I think we need to set it that first time. Because I'm not sure if there's a change happening here.
Yeah, but the reduce query when it mounts should be.
It doesn't.
Oh, because we removed dot matches from the end, right? So because the matches happens in the set state, so we might have to put dot matches on the end, and if it's true.
No, I think like reduce.
I'm just going to quickly go and pretend to be Meltwater. Back in a moment.
Okay. I think it doesn't kind of run since we're not like doing that event. So I think we need to set it when on our first. I can't like say this correctly though, but I don't know if we get an. Yeah, so we get it. We need on change, but then we also need to like get this matches and set reduce motion. So we query it, we set it, and then we say whenever change we want to set it. Then I think it's going to be correct. Then it's going to be reduce query matches. Does this make sense to anyone? Is anyone here? I can see.
That sounds good to me. Yeah.
It's just you and me. So for the people who saw last stream, I think that we need to set this initially as well, and then listen for changes. Is what I'm saying. And let's say John is saying, reduce query matches, and I think we should have. I think this is correct. Let's now see if we have the right ones. So now it's on preferred, reduce. I can't even say it. Reduce. And now it's moving. So I think we have it the wrong way around. Run command, reduce. Yeah. Did I do reduce now? See. I can't do these things. Reduce. Now we're reducing it. Yeah, so it's the wrong way around. There we go. Yes. Reduce. Now it should reduce. It reduces. We should not reduce. Do not reduce. Yes. Okay. Sorry, I just mumbled through that, people. I had no words to explain what I was doing, but it's now working.
Beautiful.
Woo. So we fix our little reduce bug.
Okay, I'm gonna bounce and get some native dependencies working.
Yeah. Let me know if I can help with that, Kyle.
Yeah.
It's probably a bit beyond me, but I do super need it for Puppeteer. So if you can get it working,
I'm actually curious. What's your use case? What are you going to be doing?
Oh, I have so many use cases.
So basically, I want a screenshot. So basically, what I've done is I'm gonna have to keep this quite secret because it's a secret project. But I have a data.
I can give an example, Paul.
Go on, then you do it then, just in case I blow the.
So,
secret.
for instance, you have a site and you want to make those social images, and instead of like creating something fancy, you just want to screenshot every page and then add that as your social image. That's the way. Card does it, like the card.co. That they do that pretty nicely. So that's one thing. Yeah.
That'd be super useful. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I did something.
And if you get that working before the summer, then that will definitely be one of the summer functions.
So, well, I don't know if you've seen this, but Gatsby plugins can ship functions. So
they can? I was going to ask about that, but ooh.
Yeah, so this could just be a little plugin. It's like, because you just have to import. See how it works. So you'd have the function, which is the screenshotting, and then you just import it, and then pass it through React Helmet or something like that. So you have like a component that would add the headers. So be sweet. Okay, well, cool. It was lovely being here. And,
thanks for coming on, Kyle. I really enjoyed it. I think our best one yet, man. I really enjoyed it.
Best one yet. That's high praise. Okay, well, enjoy your functioning. And,
cool. Thanks.
Okay.
See you, Kyle.
Bye.
Call me.
And then I'll be Kyle. Don't call me. I'll call you.
That was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. That was well
We're
done.
still live, Paul. Just
FYI. Yeah. Sorry. Oh yeah. Why are we still live? What are we doing?
Because we haven't.
I'm so hammered. I started pretty early because I was nervous. God, brilliant.
And thank you, John, for being here tonight as well.
We need to mention John for something. Didn't we talk about John?
Yeah, I'm gonna show. I think if we have time, well, we have time. I mean, we're so over time, but we could show off John's marquee. He was playing with the marquee and the colors of the marquee, and then I did some fixes on that, and then I can actually show it live what he was trying to do. We could do that. That would be fun. But should we do that? I want to show that off. John, is that okay? Well, it's all out in the public on the interwebs anyway. So let's do. I'm just gonna remove my screen.
Meltwater was actually here. I didn't know Meltwater was here. I mean, me. I didn't.
He's laughing. Or they are laughing at you.
With me, more like.
Yeah. I'm just gonna open up a new window.
I missed whether Meltwater was here because mysteriously the comments started appearing when I left the room, so we just don't know if it's one and the same person.
Did you address this question?
If you join the Nattermob pirate crew, it is inevitable that you develop a British accent. Well, is it though? Because
I haven't.
Yeah, you
but
two
I am the queen. So. I am gonna have a look at this, and then after we've shown up this fun marquee thing that I might probably add into our code, Paul, until we're waiting for your oh so beautiful design system. Paul's like, what? My design system.
No, I did look at John's PR, and I think the way you split the string will work. I think the color assignment would need to be done another way, but I think we can use parts of it in the real one when we get it.
Yeah, we can use the ID because I liked it. I mean, when we're first doing marquee, like why not go all the way out?
Well, that's going anyway, but I think we can still use parts of John's stuff because I think it was an interesting approach.
And Petter is saying that he thinks that these streams start so casual, but then almost every time I get something smart from these sessions. Thanks.
Oh, good. Well, that's kind of the aim, isn't it?
Yeah, it is kind of the aim. Well, my computer doesn't want to build anything now, so Well, that was nice having Kyle on. I felt like he was a good pirate.
So good. That was really
casual.
Good.
And
he was a good guest.
Yeah, but Benedicta, did you see that Brooke is here?
Yeah, I saw that. I like waved at her because she said hi when Kyle was saying something smart. So I didn't want to.
Was Brooke one of the commenters on your summer school tweet?
Absolutely.
Yes. Hello, Brooke. Nice to meet you.
I am going to now share my screen again. Yeah, look at this lovely work by John.
Ooh.
That looks like it belongs on Tom's MySpace page, doesn't it? Look at that.
I mean, this looks like it belongs on our site.
Oh my God, you're going to merge this in, aren't you? You're going to tinker with this.
I will.
Let's put it in. Why not? Like I think combine this with what we have.
Yeah, I think maybe John is left now that we're showing off his work.
That's okay.
Well, he might see it in he might see it. Well, he said cool here. No, there he is. Crazy. Lol. Yeah, so that is cool. So the only thing left for today then, Paul has been so starstruck. Go back and look at his tweets. He's so starstruck he forgot to mention Kyle in his last tweet.
I was too overcome with my Kardashian tweet. I'm so pleased with myself.
So wait, I need to say something then.
Well, you can talk and I will organize stuff for the summary. Okay.
Yeah. So we I don't know if you pirates in the chat have noticed, but we have on guests. But it's not really a routine kind of thing at all. So if somebody interesting pops up, then we'll take them on and as a guest. So if you have ideas for guests, send them to me, and then Paul is blushing. Yeah.
How do they contact you, Ula, if they do want to make suggestions?
John, thank you for being in the chat, John. 10 points.
But Ula, Paul had a...
How did they get? So you can see here under my name here, it's uravea.com. So if you put Ura in front of that, ura@uravea.com, that's my email. So that's good. That's good. Or you can find me on Twitter. The Twitters. I will share my screen now, maybe. I don't know.
Can we put Twitter usernames in YouTube chat?
Ula's Twitter name and link is in the description below.
Yes, so I won't share it. Okay, good. Yeah.
Such a pro, Benedict.
Yeah, that's very good. So
sometimes I can.
yeah. Or you can just get into the GitHub repo, and I'll at some point make a discussion there where you can put ideas for just put in a name of somebody you would like to have on, and then
and don't be shy. It could be you.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we would like to have more like developers on who just loves to work on Gatsby and wants to hang out.
Yeah. Because maybe we all seem very nice and we are kind of nice, but we're not. I'm the one who says no. So if you just propose yourself and I don't like it, it's not a problem. I'll just say no. So just do it. But we want to.
This sounds so welcoming, Ola.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, there's no way it can go wrong. Just come up with your own name or some other name, and we need lots of names. But also there's no like routine here. The only routine is that AK is on every second Friday. So that's our routine, and then sometimes on the other Fridays we have guests. Yeah, we seem nice, but in real life, yeah. But so should we stop now?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the summary and then we're done.
Yes.
Is this a record show? Like 1 hour 45? This is the longest we've run for, isn't it?
I think so. So everyone, ladies and gentlemen, pirates, Today has been a magnificent voyage. We have managed to make a banner, or we managed to take last week's Are We Live Now banner and hook it up to a Gatsby function that will actually let us know if we are live or not. And as you can see right now, it's telling us there's been an error, and that's because I have forced our API to give us an error. So let's change that. And let's refresh our page. And let's wait a second and hope this works now. We are live. Live now. And you can click that and you will jump on over to my YouTube channel. So how did we make this happen? We created Are We Live Now file, where we created an API folder, and then we created an Are We Live file inside of that folder. And that's all you need to make a function, is that file and then that export default async function handler. And then you can do whatever you want in here. And what we are doing is that we're hitting the YouTube API. We're asking for 50 videos. We're asking for all the videos containing Gatsby.js. Then we're looking through them to see if any of them are live. As soon as it hits something that's where live broadcasting content equals live, then it will return true. And if it's true, we are probably live as we've written. And if not, we are probably not live. Maybe these should not, like these should use the same. We are probably live. Okay. And then if there's an error, we no longer need to log that. We return the error message and a 500, which usually means something has happened. An error has happened on the server. 200 means everything is okay. So that's what we've done today.
Good.
Wow. And we've chatted a lot with Kyle Mathews, the inventor, I guess, or the founder of Gatsby. So that's it. You can do the outro.
Yeah, I'll do the outro. So next Friday at 20:00 Central European Time, we'll be back for the last time before the summer. Yeah. And our guest will be AK. Yeah. And she might have a surprise for us, right, Paul?
Does she?
No.
Well, I don't know.
Does she?
No, it's so secret that neither Paul nor AK knows about it yet. Mm-hmm. So, okay. But here comes the outro, everybody. This has been another unauthorized and rum-fueled treasure hunt in the sharky waters around the Gatsby Islands with Gatsby deep diving queen Raae and her Nattermob pirates, Paul the Navigator.
Hello.
And me, Ola the Pirate.
Krista!
Yay! Christer, you launched your site today again, didn't you? Yeah, he did. Sommerles.no. It's great stuff.
Well, I'm sorry we just did the outro, but we are now checking out Sommerles.
Yes.
Register now.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
It's a reading. Oh, it's in English.
I mean, this is in English. Both of us are like, what?
It's great.
Oh, look at this. So this is a reading campaign that some good friends of us and Snooty has created, and all the kids in Norway love it. Like, they read and they get prizes, and it's a whole thing. Like, all the kids in the neighborhood are running to the library to participate in Sommerles, which means summer reading. So, there's 3 languages. And even our PM, our Prime Minister, has endorsed it.
Erna Solberg? Really?
Good job, Christer. This is good stuff. Okay.
It is great because Erna Solberg, she's got reading disabilities.
Yes. So she knows the power of reading.
Yes.
But I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. And do you want to do your outro again, Ola, or are you just going to hit that button?
Just start waving.
Yeah. And I'll just say, remember, summer is coming.